You know, it's been a month on the server already. Like, do you realize how insane that is? It has already been a month. Oh my gosh. That's there. That's new. That is not what I expected to see today. But anyway, so it's been a month on the server already, and, well, it kind of relates to that. And, you know, that over there. Or, like, I don't know, let's take a look over there, maybe. Everyone has a house except me. Why is my FOV higher? Yeah, everyone has a house except me. In fact, since the start of the server, I have actually literally done no work here, really. Like, you know, I planted some trees to have some wood, I made myself a little farm for some food, and, well, that was it. So, today, I think I want to finally get to work on my actual base. It's been long enough, I have nothing standing in my way now, I have everything I want. By the way, guys, it is still buried down here. I want to, like, actually get a home, or at least get to work starting on getting that home. Speaking of homes, this dog, that had no correlation to homes. This dog, which we collected back in episode 1, do you want to look at me? This dog, which we collected all the way back in episode 1, it's now gonna have a name. Because if you remember, I asked you guys ages ago back when we got it for a name, and I think I have finally got a name which I actually really like. Now, the one thing is, I don't have a name tag, I don't think, so I can't officially name it. But everyone, I would like to tell you that this is Twitch. I'll put the comment on screen. It's not named after the streaming platform. It's named after the fact that you were having some sort of, like, heart attack in that river. You know, that is a much darker reasoning for the name now that I think about it. But anyway, look at this. This is little Twitch. Anyway, on to business. I want to finally get to work on my home because it is long overdue. This is something I planned on doing in the first week, not the 5th. And I think I have a pretty cool idea for it. So obviously, back when we claimed our land, we decided that we were going to live on this nice little sort of pair of islands right here. And if we look on the world map compared to different things, it's like you can see that our area that we've claimed is actually really small compared to, like, I don't know, Mefurts or even like Skippers or Cobs. Everyone else has like these massive sections of land. Look at Squid over here and stuff. We have these two tiny islands. And because I didn't actually plan out what my base was going to look like this season, I've actually given myself a really interesting challenge here in the fact that I have to take these two islands and, well, actually make them good, which is even harder considering a second thing that I have decided to do this season, which is that I don't really want to plan out my builds that much. That's right, this season I want to do a lot of freestyle building. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not going to have, like, ideas of what I want before I actually build something, but it does mean that, like, I don't have a testing world. So with the situation that I've put myself in here, this is going to be an interesting challenge. But as I said, I think I've got a cool idea for this, which is going to start with some terraforming. Whoa, look at that big surprise. I'm not going to be using this default terrain. I mean, like, you gotta be honest, look at it, it's not that good. So how am I going to terraform this? Because the thing is, when you have a small island like this, it doesn't always feel that natural to raise the terrain much. I mean, think about it in real life. Go and find some tiny island somewhere. Tell me how much it increases in height. Because this is already unrealistic. I mean, you're talking about, like, what's this? 3 blocks from the shoreline and you've already gone up by a meter? That is a really unnatural elevation. So it kind of makes you think, does that mean we've got to flatten all of this out? out. You know, like maybe put a nice beach here or something. Just raise it up a little bit, maybe to this height or something. Have a nice little house. Well, the answer to that is no. Instead of flattening this out, I think we're going to go and do the other extreme, and we're actually going to make this much less realistic in a way, but I think something that would look better, we're going to turn this all into cliffs. So like, as you can see, I have actually gathered a bunch of materials for this. This was not something that I only just came up with on the spot. However, it is definitely something that I am going to be lacking resources for, considering that island, I think, is 64 blocks long. Like, it would take a stack to cover one side of that island. So where do we actually start off with this? Because I mean, like, yeah, I can have an idea, but how do I actually bring this into reality? Well, I think to help explain it, here's a sketch that I drew. That's right, I recently got back into doodling, and yeah, it is absolutely not the best drawing ever. My sense of perspective is horribly off, but you can kind of see what I want to get at. So like, I sort of want to like increase both islands up to a short little cliff. I want to have a nice little dock somewhere, which I think I can put all of the boats at. And I think most importantly, I want to expand this into an arch to connect both islands. I think that is a really cool idea. And you know, as I said, I am freestyling this. I don't know if this is what the finished product will look like, but I think we're also not really going to make much progress or find out if, you know, we don't just actually get to work. So with all of that said, I think it's time we start grabbing these materials and we actually get building. Okay, so I think it's clear that I want to do some sort of gradient with all of this deep slate. As you can see, it kind of goes from darker to lighter, but the question is, where do I really start it? Because I could follow just an outline of the island, but I feel like I'm not gonna like the way that would look. Because, you know, the islands don't really have the best shape. So, I don't know, maybe let's come out a few blocks. Also, considering that it's got to go inwards a bit, let's start around here, maybe? And I think maybe we'll just sort of, like, get placing this and we'll see what we come out with. I think, also, maybe what I should be doing is randomizing the blocks in my hotbar a bit. Okay, so I've kind of got a rough outline of the island that I think I'm going to do. Bearing in mind, it will get thinner as it goes up because, of course, like, the cliff kind of goes inwards. I am quite liking what I have here. I do think I need to change some of the blocks as we get closer towards the surface, but I'm sure it'll be fine. It'll probably all be good. Speaking of changing the blocks as we get closer to the surface, that is actually how I think I'm going to do this gradient. So as you can see in my hotbar, I have like 5 stacks of deep slate tiles, then 3 polished deep slate, and then 1 cobbled deep slate. And the deepest point in our ocean, which is around down there, that goes down 15 blocks. And essentially, I want the gradient to shift from that really dark tile deep slate all the way up to the nice lighter sort of cobbled deep slate when we get to the surface. So how do we do that? Basically, just as we get further up this sort of gradient, as we get further up this cliff, what I am going to do is basically shift the focus block over to the next one in our gradient. Oh, hey, Cop's here. So what do I mean by focus block? Basically, it's the block that appears most often in our sort of current selection. So essentially, in our current selection of 9 blocks, the focus block is the tiles because we have 5 of them in my inventory. Then it's polished deep slate, and then it's cobbled deep slate. So currently, this is our focus block 15 blocks below the water. However, when we get to, like, I think maybe 10 blocks to give this an equal gradient, what we're going to do is we're then going to shift it so that polished deep slate is our focus block. Meaning that essentially we're going to end up with 5 stacks of polished deep slate, 3 stacks of cobbled deep slate, and then 1 stack of what our next block is, which is tough. And then once we get like 5 blocks up to the surface, shift it again. So cobbled deep slate is the focus block, then it's tough, then I believe it is cobblestone. Yep, that's how this gradient works. And if you actually go back and look at some of my older content where I am using gradients, this is quite often the method I will use. In fact, even on some world edit projects like these mountains, I still use that focus block method, except in there I just add a bit more variation because it's world edit and you can get a bit more finer detail with what blocks you're using. But it's still the same sort of idea. It's basically we have one block that is the main block and then all of the other values just get shifted around it. Anyway, that was an explanation of how I'm doing this, and also basically me just saying I think I have the shape of our first island worked out. Let's go do the second island. Now, for this island, I actually quite like the shape of it, so I think I'm probably gonna stay quite close to it, at least in this shallow area. Yeah, and then I think as I sort of get around to the sides more, I'm gonna start swapping it out. Actually, that bit might be tweaked a little. There we go. So sort of a traced outline of the second island. Now, I explained what I was going to do for the gradient, so I think I'm just gonna get to work on it. And I'll see you when it's done. Well, unless something happens. Okay, so we've reached the waterline and I have issues. So I haven't taken a step back to actually look at anything I have done so far, which, you know, is maybe not the best way to do it. But I was kind of running under the assumption of like, well, it's under the water. People aren't going to be looking at that. They're going to be looking at what's above the water. So even if it doesn't look the best, you know, hopefully it's just kind of okay. So let's actually take a look for the first time. And you know what? I feel like it's a very sudden change. Like, do you get what I mean? It's like that feels like it goes from really dark to fairly light quite quickly. Okay. Why is there like a solid chunk of just polished deep slate there? Okay. I'm not entirely sure how to fix that. I think it's okay. Like, it's not too bad, but I think it's because it's the bit that's only underwater. If it wasn't underwater, I think I would have a lot more issues with it. But for now, it's okay. But maybe it could do with some adjustment in future. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, the other issue that I would like to point out is when I did my outline, I did it with the same blocks. I did it with the color palette that should be for the deepest blocks. Meaning that right over here, where there's literally only a depth of 1 block, we still have the darkest blocks here. And if we just go and look, like, that's a really sudden change, isn't it? It doesn't work. So I need to turn these into the lighter blocks. Now, I will admit, it is the same everywhere else. Look, you can see deep slate over there, like the deep slate tiles. They should be all the way at the bottom. But, again, it's underwater, and also I think the fact that it's fairly shallow actually works in its advantage there. Like, you know, it's kind of like a little bit of shading or something, so when it's under the water, it's fine, but here, it's on the surface, and I don't like that. So I think that needs to change. The one problem is, I really like the shape of it here. This is actually a really nice shape for what we've got, and I don't want to ruin that, but I've got to tear it all apart. So I think I'm gonna try and find a way of doing this without it ruining the shape that I've already got. So if I take like some dirt or something, I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna trace the outline with this dirt, and then I can destroy all of the blocks underneath. So all of these deep slate tiles and polished deep slate, all of that can all be broken away, but I still have a record of what the original shape looked like. So it means I can basically rebuild this and have it with the exact same shape, just the different texture. So now I can just go back through that. I've already messed it up. I can just go back through and all of this should be in the exact same place. There we go. And I just need a shovel to remove all of the dirt now. So there we go. We've changed our block palette without actually risking the shape being ruined. However, I still have concerns. So the reason why I like to use deep slate in a lot of my gradients and stuff when they're underwater is because essentially it kind of looks like normal stone or cobblestone. It looks like that, but if you got it wet. And of course, if it's underwater, well, it's wet. I don't really think that needed explaining there. But the thing is, of course, like, this is an ocean, and despite what Minecraft might want you to believe, oceans do not remain perfectly flat. So really, the water shouldn't just be stopping there. The water should technically be rising like maybe that block, honestly, even 2 blocks up sometimes. So I think I need to bring cobble, deep slate and stuff up into the next row at least. The one slight issue with that is if I want to keep my gradient changing at a consistent rate, I can't do that because this should really be the last block palette that uses cobble deep slate. And my other issue is if I want to fit in this block palette using the same sort of gradient change that I am, that would mean this island has to be 15 blocks tall. So that would mean bringing it all the way up to here. And I don't want this. I don't think this looks good. So what am I going to do? Well, to be honest, I think the answer is fairly simple. We're going to change our gradient a little. So instead of only using 3 blocks in our gradient, which is what we're currently doing, we currently only have a maximum of 3 blocks at a time. I think I'm gonna up it to 4. But not only that, I'm going to change how quickly our gradient is moving. So if you remember that focus block thing that I said earlier, currently I am focusing on 1 block for 5 blocks in height. So essentially it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then change the focus block, then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I do not think I'm gonna do that now. I think instead, what I might do is honestly bring it down to 2. Because then I think that would give our island an overall height of 6, like this. This is definitely preferable. However, what if we up it to 8? Because I think I can do a little more with 8 as well. You know what? 8 is good. 15 is a little too much, 6 is a little too little, and I think 8 is good. We're gonna go with 8, and I think I can fit that with our block palette. However, it also means I need to change our distribution of blocks. Because if you remember, I said that we would have a focus block where we used 5 stacks, then 3 stacks of a second block, and 1 stack of a third block. I think I might change that now to, let's say, 4 stacks of our focus block, 1 stack of the block prior to it, 3 stacks of the block after it, and 1 stack of the block after that. So essentially, we've swapped out 1 of the 5 stacks for the block that came before everything else. Essentially, our darkest block in the gradient at that time. My one concern is that this is too sudden of a gradient changing. Because here's the thing, yes, I use these gradient mixtures quite often, however, I tend to use them in larger scale projects that are gonna be seen from much further away. And at that distance, it's fine. Everything looks good from there, but when you're close up, that can be a different story. So essentially, I would normally use a gradient change like this on something like whatever my foot is doing over there. However, instead, I'm doing this up on a close and personal level. So any kind of sudden block change is going to be very noticeable. And I do really need to keep that in mind. But I think I'm just gonna roll with it. I'm gonna see what happens, and hopefully it's all gonna be fine. And if it's not, well, I have no idea. Let's just get back to work. Okay, so this could have been a bad idea. And it's the second time that I've done it. But once again, I have just gone and built everything without actually stepping back to look at it. So you're gonna get my first reaction to this, my genuine first reaction. If I just like sail a little bit out here. Oh, it works. Oh, it works. Oh, that is brilliant. Oh, that is so brilliant. I mean, like, this island is bigger than I expected it to be. I expected this island to be actually really tiny, as you can even see in my drawing. And I think that is because, like, it is a smaller island. Like, the original island is much smaller, but of course, like, after adding the cliffs and stuff, I probably expanded it out a lot more. So the island's honestly probably a similar size now, but like, oh, look at it. Also, actually, from this angle, no, that one's definitely smaller still. Okay, so it's a perspective thing, but look at that. Oh, I am so pleased with that. I mean, obviously, I need to remove the dirt here and stuff, but like, that actually, that came out so well. Like, I got my little archway and everything that I wanted. Oh my gosh, and the gradient. I am so proud of this gradient. Like, I was unsure on it, and I definitely think that including little bits of cobble deep slate was the right decision. But like, oh, it worked. I'm so happy, and I wish I could react more, but like, my room is currently baking like an oven. Genuinely, I don't know what is wrong with the UK right now. Oh, but it worked though. I'm so proud of that. I like never do any freestyle terraforming, but it actually worked. The archway is actually what I was most worried about, because I felt like I was very suddenly going into a sort of horizontal thing when most of it's vertical, but actually, that worked really well, I think. Obviously, like, the dirt in the way doesn't exactly help. I will get rid of this. Oh my gosh. That worked so well. Like, look at that. I was worried about it going horizontal too quick. Look at that curve. I mean, I know the curve is kind of brought on by the blocks behind it and stuff, but it still works. Like, perspective like that, it still looks good. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy with it. And you can actually see, like, what I'm sort of planning to do with this. So, like, if you look down here, as you can see, like, there's a lower section of terrain here. This is something that I wanted to do. I don't know why, it just seemed like it would be cool, but I wanted like a nice little lower bit of terrain or something down here, and then basically the path just sort of winds up over here and like comes around the corner, and then it will lead into like this whole thing, and my house is definitely gonna fit here. And you can definitely see how much we have expanded the island by. Like, look, this is the original size, but it is entirely surrounded. There is water on all sides of this. So, like, honestly, we've expanded the island a decent bit, but it actually means whilst I was originally quite worried that my house wouldn't actually fit, no, it's definitely gonna fit now. I mean, like, it might be a little tight, but it's gonna fit. As for over here, I still want to do some work on it. So first of all, I'm not entirely sure if only a singular block height change is enough. It feels like it's okay right now, but that could change once we actually put in the ground. which I will talk more about later because that is actually like a massive issue I need to solve. But also, I do think I still want to go with what I had in my drawing. I want to put a little dock down here, which means we're gonna need a way up from that dock. And I was wondering, like, do I do scaffolding? Do I do something like, I don't know, do I just put a staircase? I think what will work best is probably the exact same thing we did over there. I think a sloping bit of terrain will be best, but I'm not entirely sure. I think I'll try the scaffolding method first, just because essentially it doesn't require taking down part of the cliff, but like if it doesn't work, oh well, it's not too complex of a design. It doesn't exactly take an eternity to build or repair it and stuff. First of all though, I want to see if I can get some opinions on this from someone that isn't me, because I'm gonna be biased, you know, especially since I just spent like 3 to 5 hours building this. So I would like to see if Cobb is around to give me his opinions, seeing as he is online. Now, the one thing is, I don't actually know where Cobb would be. Like, I mean, this is his base, and can I just say, this looks really cool. And I like it because, like, it's not too dissimilar from the style that I want to go with. I mean, it's not the same. I'm not going to be building in this style, but it's something where, like, the base that... Oh my gosh, it looks so nice. The base that I have imagined, like, I can see it fitting. Kind of the same with skippers as well. Like, I kind of fall into this sort of zone where, like, it does fit with the bases around. So the question is the wonderful Cobb anywhere here? I don't think he is. Hi, Bob. How's it going? Oh, he's AFK. Okay, so I guess we're not getting an external opinion, but I'm happy with it. That genuinely looks really nice, and I can already see how this is gonna turn out. Like, I can already imagine the rest of my base built on that. That is gonna look really cool. Side note, I wonder what it looks like from skippers. It still looks good. I think Cobb definitely has the better angle. I think there's something nice about being able to, like, properly see the hole in the archway and stuff and see the sky on the other side, but, like, it still looks pretty nice. What about if we come over to another angle like Mefurt's? Because this is the thing. I know I want my base to look good myself, but the other thing that I do need to consider is, like, does it look good to everyone else? Because there are 4 of us on this coastline right here, and there's even more people over that way and that way. So, like, I really need to make sure that my base looks good from every possible angle, because it is literally going to be viewed from every possible angle, especially since, like, the shopping district is also over there. So we're gonna get a lot of traffic in every single direction. So yeah, from Mefurt's, still not looking bad. I think Mefurt definitely has the worst view out of all of them, because, like, the whole thing is sort of angled slightly that direction. But, like, overall, not bad in the slightest. That is really good. I'm genuinely so proud of it. Freeform terraforming is not my thing, but, like, for this, I think I can definitely say that I did good. Anyway, back on track. I want to make a dock, not the German hermitcraft dude. Like, I want to make a boat dock, which means we're gonna need some spruce wood. I think let's get a decent supply of slabs, and we'll also make a crafting table to bring over there. Okay, the one thing is I really do need to get the ground in place, because parkouring around this whole thing for the rest of my life is not something I want. We will get there eventually, just right now I don't want to do that, so we're not. I really don't want to go and do what I need to do to get all of the grass and stuff. But anyway, so I think right here is sort of where I want the dock, because also there's this carved out bit, so like if I need to move this cliff back, I don't need to remove any of that ground. Yes, this decision is made on both aesthetics and laziness. So how high above the waterline? Because I was originally thinking 1 block, but is that going to be a little difficult to get out the water? Let's try it. Already screwed it up. Let's try 7 blocks out. I'm gonna extend that to 10, maybe? 10 by 4, perhaps? Let's see. How does that look? I think it's too straight. Yeah. It's definitely too straight. Like, yeah, I know it's Minecraft and stuff, but this doesn't feel right. I think it would be better if we sort of went out at that angle a bit more, sort of facing towards the nether portal. I think it would be better to go at that sort of angle than this. This feels too straight, too simple, and also, like, it kind of doesn't match with the terrain. Because, like, yeah, the terrain is sort of going at that angle, roughly, so you would actually expect the pier to go a bit more that way rather than out this way. This way is a really inconvenient angle to build it. So yeah, let's try every like 3 blocks we go out. Something like this, perhaps? Okay, this is already feeling better. Yeah, I very much prefer that. Although now it feels shorter, which, I mean, it technically is in terms of X and Y and stuff, but like, Pythagoras said it shouldn't be, so why does that feel so short? I mean, I can just extend it. Pug's on! Okay, can I borrow Pug? I kind of want Pug's opinion. Oh my gosh, if I fall in this water one more time, I'm about to scream. I'm gonna make my assumption and say that Pug is probably this way. Okay, well, he said hi, but I don't know if he's actually, like, playing or if he's just AFK. What on earth? Oh, that is so cool. Is it selling what I think it's selling? Cops, wind and fire and stuff. Oh, breeze rods. What's the price? 3 diamonds per 60. Do I want to justify it? Let's justify it. Because I think this is going to make like a stack of wind charges, which like I don't intend on using really. First of all, because they actually apparently screw up the replay mod a little bit. And also secondly, like, I don't know, I'm just not very good with them. But like, I'm entirely willing to mess with people. Spidey is not AFK, and he would also be a valuable person to get an opinion of. Like, Spidey is pretty good at terraforming, pretty good at building in general, really. That's Pug there. Oh my gosh, Skipper's on as well. Can I convince him to not look at my base yet?
Oh, hello.
I think that's the first time I've ever seen you get scared.
You're just so much smaller than a regular player model would. Oh, being down a block and oh my goodness.
Oh gosh. Hi. Get in the boat. You're being kidnapped. Voluntarily, but you are being kidnapped. Yeah, basically, you're being kidnapped because I need your opinion on stuff. I don't think he's here.
I didn't see anything. Oh wait, hey.
Oh, hello. Hello. Hi. Do you want to tag along for this?
What exactly am I tagging along
I need your opinions on something, and you seem like a person that would have opinions on things.
Pretty nice.
Cool. That's the response I was hoping to hear.
Hey, you got a little archway. That's good.
Yeah, the archway's my favorite bit. Skipper, you're officially joining the trio of opinionators.
Ooh, that looks nice.
What do you think? I know that there's no grass right now.
I'm a fan.
So, are there any recommendations for my base other than add grass to it? Because currently it is just a bunch of stone walls.
Destroy it and start over.
Aww.
Maybe make a like little mini islands around it.
Oh, I
That's
could
my
do
only
that. Or
suggestion.
like little
Yeah.
spiky bits.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Okay, that was a fun distraction, although it is actually the next day now. Yeah, I ran out of time to record yesterday, so it's a new day, but we were working on this dock, and there are signs here. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. I was gonna mention these guys later, but I guess this is happening now. So, everyone, I would like to introduce you to O.A.T. Who is O.A.T? Well, they're the organization of aesthetic terraforming. And I guess this is considered aesthetic terraforming. What does this actually say? Level P offense, incompatible block placement, designation P. What? What does that mean? Incompatible block placement? You mean my dock? Failure to fix by 7/27/24 will result in a fine from O.A.T. There's a... Oh my gosh. What's this one? Great terraforming. Very impressed. Well, you just fined me. Well, no, you didn't fine me. You threatened to fine me. Okay, so I should probably explain who O.A.T is. Can I... Oh, come on. No. That was close. Oh, come on. Ah, no. Oh my gosh, this is failing. Okay, so to explain who O.A.T is, here's a clip from a while back. Why am I being told I need to get on?
So I need you to... I have one too. I need you to look at that sign over there.
Level D offense, irregular dirt book placement. Failure to fix by 7th of the 12th of 24th will result in a fine from Oh, wait. Oh, this is American date, isn't it? The 12th of the 7th. What's the day today?
Today is the 7th.
Oh,
So
hold
this-
on a second.
I don't know who found it out. You need to apparently fix your regular dirt placement by the 12th.
Well, who works for O.A.T?
I don't know who works for O.A.T, but I also got an offense apparently.
Well, I mean, someone has to work for O.A.T. Hold on, right, let me...
I'm not paying the fine. You want to see mine? If you come back here, right? So I'm not done with my stuff yet because it's gonna just evolve over time, right? I got a lot of signs.
Dear Sir, Madam, incomplete terraforming, level C offense, you have 1 week. That's 2 days ago, Skipper. That's 2 days ago in American dates. To complete terraforming, failure to do so within 1 week was subject to a fine from O.A.T.
I'm being an old man in this situation. I'm not paying no fine. I'm also not doing this.
Yeah. Screw them. I'm British. This date is in several months. Oh, no, wait. No, that date's already happened. Sorry. My date's in several months. So, yeah, O.A.T left this nice little sign at my base threatening to fine me with this thing here, like this dirt block, which I would like to point out, I didn't place this. This dirt block was not put here by me. But, like, they gave me this sign saying, like, failure to fix by 7/27/24. Wait, that date's changed. Okay, so, like, this used to say failure to fix by, like, 7th of the 12th of 2024. But I guess they extended the deadline or something. But yeah, basically they told me this and I just kind of responded with bet. I'm not fixing my base, screw you. This is my base, I'll do what I want. And yeah, I think the only thing that came from it is they planted this here. Like they just went and planted a cherry tree at my base. So like genuinely at this point I'm wondering what on earth is the problem with O.A.T? Like why would I fix any of the problems that they bring up? Because all that seems to happen is they extend the deadline and they plant a tree at my base. I'm not seeing the sort of encouragement to actually fix anything that they're bringing up. How on earth though? Like literally, I built this yesterday. This is less than 12 hours ago. Also, side note, I would like to point out, I live in the UK. So 7th of the 27th isn't a date. If anyone wants to explain to me what the 27th month is, perfectly fine by me. For now though, that can go away. In the meantime, I want to get back to this dock, which apparently O has an issue with. So I like the angle that it's at, but I think maybe it should be even harsher of an angle. So what if I do it like every 2 blocks? Something like that? I feel like I prefer that angle, and maybe this distance. So that would result in something like this, maybe? The end of it feels weird. What if I do that? That feels ever so slightly better, but still not right. But I don't know how I would fix it. What if I make the whole thing thinner? So 1 block thinner like that. I think that works. Does it though? I don't know. This end bit is really annoying me. What if I try that? So you see, now this feels like it's sort of, it's really weird how it pokes out a block. But I think mathematically that would be correct. It's just aesthetically it doesn't look as good. What if we try making it much wider? So a wider thing like this, what does that look like? I like that. I think that works. Again, maybe the angle is a little off, but like, I think it's okay. I think it works. I'm willing to go with that. What if I try that? Oh, that actually feels better. So technically it's a slightly different angle, but that does feel better. I really prefer that. So yeah, technically it changes angle a bit because that's 3 blocks compared to the 2 blocks here, but I think it looks much better. So I say we go for that. The thing is, now I want to put support beams on the actual pier and stuff, because obviously it wouldn't just jut out like that with no supports. But the question is, where do I put said support beams? Because I feel like there's not many places that would fit. Maybe here and here? That feels okay. I quite like that. Yeah, you know what? I was a little unsure, but I think that works. So what we'll do, we'll bring these all the way down to the seafloor, just like that. And I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna strip most of them, but I'll leave some of them bare. So some of them are just normal logs, but I would say like 75% of them are stripped. Yeah, something like that, just to give it a little texture variation. I think that works quite well. Then I think maybe like another support beam here. And again, just strip most of it. There we go. And you might be wondering, well, why don't I put another support beam here? I think if I do that sort of scaffolding thing, it's gonna go right here. So I kind of need the scaffolding in place before I can work out what I'm doing with it. I'm getting good at using those wind charges. Whoa! So how would our scaffolding work? Because the thing is, I kind of want a color similar to spruce that isn't actually spruce. The issue with wanting that is, well, it doesn't exist. So I don't know what to do with that. As a little side note, by the way, I'm taking a lot of inspiration in what I'm envisioning from like Sea of Thieves. If any of you have ever played that game, you know, like all of the wooden walkways and stuff. I'm kind of trying to imagine stuff like that. Okay, let's say I need at least 3 blocks of space. That means it would come out to here from that block there, which means I think I want to put a pillar here. I'm also gonna quickly mark the original shape with dirt underneath, just so if this doesn't work, I know what not to destroy. Something like that. Distance, maybe let's try 1 block more, but then I feel like it might line up with this too much, and I don't want it looking perfect. I kind of want this to have a very sort of just put together style, so like it's kind of barely holding itself in place. And yeah, I feel like that lines up a little too much, but I am willing to put a pillar here, I think. Yeah, that works quite well. Let's maybe try try a pillar there as well. That looks quite good. Okay, I just looked up like old wooden scaffolding or something. I found like some pretty good inspiration, or at least like kind of the style I'm going with. So it often uses ladders. I don't think I want to do that. Just because, first of all, ladders are slow. Secondly, I don't know, they feel very generic. I kind of want this to have a really nice aesthetic. Like, I'm kind of willing to put a ladder up at the top, maybe, but for the first few bits, I at least want just, like, actual paths. So, I guess what I kind of want is a ramp. How does it look with oak stairs, maybe? Let's try some fences underneath. So, kind of like that, and then I would put, I guess, like, wooden planks here, and then that would kind of loop around and go to this side. It works, but I don't know if I like it. What if I try some slabs maybe? So a slower gradient. That works better, I think. So I think also this scaffolding would get brought up here, and then we'd put that there maybe? So it'd actually be finishing on a half slab, which actually seems kind of cool. Ooh, but then what if I sort of like put that at an angle? Ooh, I quite like that. Try that there. Okay, I'm liking it. I think. I'm not entirely sure. I'm very much just experimenting here. Okay. I think I like it. The one thing is, it definitely needs, like, support beams sort of holding it up in the corners. So, like that, maybe? Yeah. And I think connect this up as well. What if we try that? I think remove those. Can I put a slab there? I can't. Okay, what about a trapdoor? Nice, you can still sprint up that, and it's kind of slow going down, but honestly, I would probably just jump off the top. So that works, and actually, it brings me onto my second note of I want to put a bit of, like, sort of variation in it, because it all staying as one flat platform made entirely of spruce slabs, I don't really like it. I think it looks a little unrealistic, or it looks too generic. So I think I would like to add some variation by sort of putting some trapdoors in, which gives us a little height variation to work with, but also it makes it look a little more put together, as I sort of said I want. There we go. I am much preferring that. Maybe let's even try one in the corner there. The corner could be too much. I'll leave it for now, because what I can also do is I can actually put some trapdoors on the top as well, so we get more height variation both up here and from below. So maybe a little too much with that one. Or actually, I kind of like the ramp being at a different height, so maybe that one's good there. Yeah. Oh gosh, I'm falling down. But also, I can do some fun stuff like that. Never mind. That did not place where I thought it would. But I can still use that. It's kind of like there's a hole in the platform. So it does kind of work. And what if I try something like that? That seems good. I like that. And we can actually get some lower variation with that one. I think actually let's swap these out. So that one is a trapdoor and then this is a slab. How does that feel going up? That is perfectly fine. Oh, this is coming together. Can you feel it working? I think also, so those, that's a slab there. So that doesn't connect up, but it does feel like it needs a connection there. So what if I swap that out for stairs and then sort of put like 3 fences? Yeah, that looks good. I like the way that that is. And also, can I put like fences there or something? Yeah, that seems okay. What about some fences there as well? Just sort of like as a bit of framework. Maybe if I do something like that, that seems quite good. Okay, so let's sort of strip some of these logs as well, because they are supposed to be stripped. There we go. So we're sort of giving it that bit more sort of rundown feeling. Does this look better if I put a trapdoor there? You know what? I kind of like that. Okay, so I kind of want to do that trapdoor variation with a lot of the other stuff as well, because of course, like, we still have this platform which is very barren and empty. So if I just sort of like break away a bunch of these. Side note, I can already tell I am going to turn up here and find so many of these trapdoors open so often. Like, it's just a thing that happens. If you have a build and it uses trapdoors, someone's gonna flip all the trapdoors. I'm also trying to do all of these trapdoors sort of in the same direction as the wood, just because it kind of seems to make more sense. Let's put like 2 there or something, give us some height variation upwards. I wonder what he's doing. I feel like a trapdoor would work there as well. Also, whilst I'm down in the water here, I should probably fix another issue that every dock should have. I'm gonna put some ladders here just so that if you do fall in the water, you can get out. The one thing is, it really annoys me how light the ladders are. Because, like, look, that's oak wood texture, but I really like my dark little pillars. But, like, it kind of only makes sense to put it there, and it just doesn't really work anywhere else. So, I don't know, it's a little annoying, but there's nothing I can really do about it. Right, but let's see, how does this feel? That feels like there is too much height variation. I think remove these 2 and remove these 2. How does that seem? That seems better. I think because this is a more walked along platform, probably, this needs a bit more care. But sort of around the edges, yeah, that can be like warped a bit. Bearing in mind, that's also the bit that like water's gonna be splashing up against quite often. So like it makes sense for a little more to be there. So I think that has come out really well, which I'll admit I was not expecting. I thought I was gonna do this and it was gonna look terrible, and then I was gonna be like, okay, I'm going with the path in the cliff method and I'm gonna need to like tear down this whole wall. That was what I thought it was gonna be like, but actually, I really like that. The one thing is, the sides do still feel a bit empty, which I think is gonna be the next bit that I fix. So first of all, I want to see what it's like if I put a staircase there and then like sort of some fences there. Okay, you can actually like barely see that from where I quite like it though. If I replicate it on the other side, let's see, how does that look? I quite like that. Maybe makes it feel a little more put together. What if I rotate one of the stairs? There we go. How does that feel? That feels a little better, I think. It just gives it that like slightly less organized feel, the fact that they're both facing different ways. Also, I wonder how it looks if I put a fence up like that. He's about to... I can tell that he's missing because I can hear all of these arrows landing in the water. I don't have my bow. I can't shoot back. He's moving to try and get a better shot in. Ow! Okay, he hit me there. He hit me that time. Was that for when I waxed his door in the intro? Okay. I really like how this came out. I think it could probably use some lanterns on it, which is also another side point I would like to bring up. I have done well so far this season at actually keeping my base mob-proof. Like, when I sort of first got to this island, I covered it in torches, and I made sure nothing could spawn here. So it has been like that for a solid month now, and I want to upkeep that. Because since I've done this terraforming, obviously there's a lot more blocks that can, like, be spawned on now, and there's a lot more darker areas. So I kind of need to get to work fixing that at some point, but I'm gonna do that later. Because currently, if I light up all of these rocks, I'm still gonna need to just go back through after I put all of the grass in. So I might as well just do it all at once. Also, this, I am loving seeing this from different angles. But anyway, so the one thing is, I want to make it feel a little more varied still. So I think I'm going to take advantage of a similar tactic to what our neighbor Mafert has done. So if we just come and land down over here, I want to take a look at the one and only build he's done so far over here, because this is what I like. Notice how his build has this sort of very similar sort of like it's just been put together and it's about to fall apart feel. It has that sort of same feeling to it. So can I get up there? Look at that. So yeah, okay, it's kind of what I expected. It's a bunch of sort of signs and trapdoors and stuff like that. There's some use of fence gates because of course they don't have the post going down. There's some hanging signs, which I was considering. Okay, so he's definitely done the same sort of thing that I was thinking of, and given the fact that it's worked so well here, I'm willing to try it. And the other reason why this tactic tends to work so well is because signs have an advantage in the fact that they have a different height to every other block. So like trapdoors, they're 3 pixels thick and stuff, and they would leave around a, what is that, 13 pixel gap. However, if I put a sign here, as you can see, that's kind of like, what is that? Like 4.5 pixels. It's a 4.5 pixel gap, which is slightly different to every other thing in the game. And I did actually put that one there as an example, but I kind of like it, I think. So what that means is if I go and put some of these sort of off the bottom, as you can see, look at that. We have a new height. We have another sort of lower down bit on this dock, but it's still not touching the water. And also in situations like this, look, it's not hanging on this block, even though like technically in terms of the game it is. So what it actually sort of looks like is instead of being attached to this, it looks like it's a connecting beam from this over to this like half slab here. I think that works quite well. Let's sort of see how this appears further back. Yeah, I am liking that. That is just like essentially another layer of detail that we've gone and added. And I think what we can do, we can now sort of go and bring this upwards as well, and we can also put it on the sides of these sort of panels, or like, so these sort of oak ramps that we've added in here. First of all, this seems like it's a bit of a connection beam, so it seems like this isn't just loosely hanging here. But also, it just sort of like takes out a little bit of the brighter color slightly, so it just kind of blends it in that little bit more. I shouldn't be forgetting the ones that I want to do on these sort of pillars, and actually, we can put some underwater. Look at that. That is a detail that nobody will ever notice. It is so subtle. Actually, what about dark oak? Would a dark oak sign look better here? Oh, that does. That absolutely does. Okay, so all of these ones on the pillars, we're gonna swap those out for dark oak. Oh, what about if I put some signs sort of on the fences there? It kind of works. Like from this side, that works. My one concern is just the fact that it's floating. I don't know if I like the fact that it's floating. What if I put one there? Because look at that. Oh, it's like a little sort of connecting bit, but like it's got a different style. It's got like really thin sort of spruce logs there. Oh, that's good. That is really good. I like that. Okay, I think we can call that done. Mostly, there's one last thing that I kind of want to add it, but I'm not sure if it's a little too much, and it's not going to be on this bit, because this bit is maybe looking over detailed now. This seems a little too detailed. I don't know, what does it look like in free cam? I mean, like, from an angle like that, that looks really nice. What about from this sort of angle? Even that is okay. From this side, yeah, I'm okay with that. I think it's maybe just at this sort of angle. It just kind of looks messy, but I don't know how you would fix that, because like I can't remove detail from this angle without it taking away from either here or here. So is the answer to just leave it? But like, this is the angle where you arrive from a boat on and stuff. I think it might be these two signs. If I take that out, yeah, that feels better. Like, that does definitely feel better on that side. Maybe on this side, is it this sign? Okay, again, feels better. I think I could tolerate this. Maybe it's the detail of this sign, which, like, I know I raved about it. I was like, whoa, that's really cool, but yeah, that's better. I think from this angle, that is definitely better. From this angle, still looks perfectly fine. That angle, perfectly fine. And this angle, yeah, perfectly fine. Maybe a little under-detailed on this end. Like, I think maybe there should be some detail sort of facing that way, but I'm fine with it. Especially since this is not the most common angle, and even still, it looks fine. I'm okay with under-detailing. I really hate over-detailing. Over-detailing is sort of where, like, I don't know, it feels like a mess rather than, like, a nice design. And I know I kind of want, like, a messy-looking design, but, like, not that messy. The one thing is, I wonder if I put a slab there. Yeah, I quite like that. What if I put a slab there as well? I actually like that less. I think I like the sort of sloped factor of it. Yeah, I like that. Maybe a trapdoor there? Okay, so you can't see it from this angle. From this angle, yeah, it's ever so slightly better just because you can barely see it. But it does feel like that slab is connected more. Okay, I think I am happy to call it with that on our, like, scaffolding staircase. That worked really well, I think. So, what was that other thing that I maybe wanted to add? I was thinking of a crane. And originally, I was gonna make it so the crane went out that way. So, like, it was gonna be somewhere here and it went off that way. But actually, with the scaffolding staircase there, I think the crane could work better on this side going that way. I'm not entirely sure, but it's worth a try. Now, the one thing is, cranes are incredibly difficult at a small scale, so I'm not entirely sure how this is gonna look, or even if I could fit one. Maybe I'll attach it to the pillar here or something. That seems like the best option. Ooh, I could use some tough bricks, maybe, just as a little experiment, because I haven't used them before, so I want to see if it might work. Also, I was hoping I would have a spare grindstone or a spare stone slab for a grindstone, but I don't appear to. But considering that I barely use these things, let's just take the one I have. Also, side note, by the way, can you guys tell me if you like this sort of, like, more detailed version of working on the builds? Like, do you like seeing me sort of come up with these builds on the spot and work through them? Because, like, it's a thing that I've wanted to try for a little bit, and I thought, like, this is a good opportunity to, with the dock and the staircase and the crane and stuff. I thought it might be a nice opportunity to try it. So if you do like it, please tell me in the comments, because I do kind of want to do more of this. But I also want to make sure that you guys are actually enjoying it. I hate how expensive chains are. You know what would be perfect? Wooden walls, which, yeah, I know that they don't exist, but I would like to complain about the fact that they don't exist, because something that is the thickness of a wall but has the texture of wood would really be perfect here. Until then, I've got to find a different solution. What if we try stripped spruce? There we go, because it kind of separates it a little bit. I think that was a good idea. What if I do this coming out at an angle? Something like that? I like that. Maybe less of an angle, though. So how about sort of coming out by one block for every 3 out? What is that like? I kind of prefer that. I wonder, what about another thing where, like, technically it's an inconsistent angle, but it might just look better? Okay, what about bringing that out by 1? I have an idea. What if we bring that down by 1 and sort of then do that? I prefer that. I think that looks better. My mouse is being weird. What is my mouse doing? Fixed it. And then our good old friends trapdoors, just to give it a little bit better of a connection. How does that look? I think bring it out by one on each. Like that. Yeah, better. Okay, also, I've just had a bit of an idea. I need a stone thingy. What's it called? A stone cutter, that. Okay, right. How do tough bricks work? That is exactly the sort of texture I think I'm looking for. Oh, what if we try it with a wall as well? So if I sort of do that, and then maybe that, and the stairs there, how does that look? No, that does not work at all. Why does that not work? Does it blend in too much with the background? That does, doesn't it? I mean, like, if I just put a blur on the video or something, you can't see that. Okay. I don't know how to fix that. It kind of feels like the chain isn't long enough either. Okay, so ignoring the color for now, what if I just put a longer chain and only the stairs? The longer chain is better, only the stairs is not. I mean, maybe it is. Right, also, the sun is setting right now, so how does this look if we sleep? So now that it's a little brighter, does not help. I mean, like, you can see it fine at this sort of angle. It's just against that wall, it really blends in. But that's annoying, though, because, like, it's such a good texture. I wonder if I can use chisel tough in this. Can I put it on here? That looks infinitely worse. How does that look? Not as good as I hope. I feel like it needs a connection, but that isn't right. What about that? Better, but still not right. What about that? Better. Maybe. Okay, let's see. If I put a trapdoor there and a trapdoor there, that is much better. Okay. I think it looks a little weird, but it kind of needs that second connection beam. Like, it doesn't work without that. I mean, it kind of did, but, like, it doesn't make logical sense. Although, do I want it making logical sense? Perhaps I'm falling into the realms of over-detailing here. What about... I've got an idea. Oh, it's on the wrong side. Oh, I was hoping that would go up, not down. That's depressing. Okay, what if I add some signs on here? Oh, of course, I can't add signs where there's a chain. That's interesting and annoying. Better. Okay, so the signs didn't work on the bottom. What about on the top? And I think this will actually need 3 just to cover that side as well. Okay, I like that. I like that. I think that works well. Okay. What about deep slate? Because tough is a little sort of too similar to the background, which makes sense because it is actually one of the blocks in the background. So what about a little bit of polished deep slate? That is better. Maybe not perfect, but it is indeed better. Okay, if I remove all of this, do I think I can call this crane complete? I think I can. It's definitely not perfect. So actually, if you guys do have any sort of recommended improvements, please tell me in the comments. I will look at every single one of them because I think this could definitely be better. I just don't know how. What if maybe I swap this out for stairs? How does that look? A little bit better, yeah. Also, I have just had one very funny little idea. So the heavy core that I mentioned is still buried down here. Obviously, me, Skipper, and Muffet, we went through hell to get this. And I told them that, like, I wasn't using it for a mace. I wanted to use it for decoration. And they were like, dude, do not use that for something really stupid that, like, just isn't needed. So I think I'm gonna use this for something really stupid that isn't needed. I'm gonna see what this looks like if we just put it on top here. How does that look? Unfortunately, not good. If it looked really good, I would have put it there, but I don't think it works. Maybe what I should do, every single time I build something, I should move it around or something. Oh, I can't even put it there. There's a trapdoor in the way. Oh, dang it. And I don't really like the idea of hanging it off of the crane and stuff because it doesn't actually sort of hang. It sits like it's a normal block. The way they did the heavy core, I really hate. They really should have made it act like a player head. I'm sorry, they just should have. It's literally the same size as a player head and stuff. Why does it not act like one? Why can't you place it at angles or on the side of stuff? Just make it do that. And actually, because it sits so low, I don't think I could do something like that. Yeah, because look, that's just hanging. It's just floating. So that doesn't look good either. Yeah, it doesn't work. Oh, the fact that you can't place it diagonally removes so many cool things you could do with it. Mojang, if you change one thing, can you just make it so it acts like a player head? Please, can you just make it so that it acts like a head and you can place it at angles or on the side of stuff? It would look so good. But no, you just don't let that be a thing for some reason. Despite the fact that it is literally the same model, is the exact same size and shape. Okay, so for now, I think I'm gonna call this dock done. Just gonna chuck all of this stuff in here. So I think we can officially call our dock complete. I am genuinely really proud of that design. I think once I start lighting stuff up, I'll definitely add some lanterns around. But for now, that's right, we're not done. Still not done for today. You guys can't get rid of me yet. I want to actually add some grass. The thing that this base has been missing for ages now, and it's really needed ever since I did the terraforming with the stone. Yeah, this place has really been lacking some greenery ever since I put the walls in. I mean, like, if we just fly away a little bit, it looks fine from this angle. This looks absolutely wonderful. But, like, yeah, once you get up close, it's a little bit disappointing. So I think it's time we actually work on this. Here is where one issue comes in though. So obviously these islands are considered an ocean biome, I'm pretty sure, and even if they're not, we've just expanded our island out so we have a like perimeter that is part of the ocean biome. My issue with this is I'm not a huge fan of the grass color. I mean, like, yeah, it's not awful, but like you have to admit it's also not really the best. It's kind of one of those things, you don't realize it's desaturated until you then go and look at, like, the plains over there or something, or, like, the forest, and you actually realize that, yeah, this is fairly desaturated. It's quite grey. So, I am thinking, do I not want to use grass? Do I instead want to use a different material? Or, at least a different material mixed with grass? I personally think I do, but the problem is, now I've actually got to have a resource that looks like grass and can work as grass, but is not grass. And also, because I am actually living here, and this island is going to be a bit more walkable rather than, like, flying around it and stuff, I need it to actually look good close up, which is a concerning challenge. If any of you guys have seen the creative mode series, like, I tend to use a mixture of green wool, moss, and concrete powder, and from a distance, it looks brilliant, but when you get up close, it kind of falls apart. Although, I think that's mostly because of the green wool. So, along with that fact, and also the fact that I actually just do not want to go and collect that much green wool, I am thinking, what if we use a mixture of moss and concrete powder, and maybe sprinkle in a little grass along the way? That feels like a good idea to me, and actually, I've just realized I can use that in texturing, because the desaturated grass is probably a really good transition between moss and mud. And mud could make a very good path. So you know what? I think we should consider that. So yeah, I think that's the conclusion I've come to. I want to use both moss and concrete powder. The thing is, there's one slight issue with using moss and concrete powder, which is the fact that I have neither. I don't have either one of those blocks. I guess we're gonna need to go adventuring. Now, moss isn't going to be too difficult because I just need to go and collect some from somewhere where I know it has some. And that place is the wonderful Skynapple Caves. Oh, it has been a while since I came here. Look at this place. Perfectly untouched. Still need to explore that mineshaft one day. But anyway, so all I should really need to do is just steal like a single bit of moss. And now our issue is the concrete powder, which is going to be much harder to deal with due to the fact that it requires green dye. But not only that, it also requires sand and gravel, neither of which are fun to collect. Actually, to be fair, sand is quite fun to collect. Gravel is not. Gravel is just slow and painful because you don't get like nice deserts filled with gravel, unlike with sand. Take that, Anakin, you're wrong. Ah, what on earth? So yeah, as for the sand and gravel, there is a desert sort of north of everyone on the map, and given the fact that this has been dug out a bit, I'm gonna assume I could get away with digging here. I hope. Did I say sand and gravel? I meant green dye. Speaking of the gravel, though, that was my next point. I have not seen many gravel beaches anywhere around. Man, whose bee is out here? Like, dude, you don't even live in any of the biomes around. Where did you come from? There's another one. Since when did bees live in the ocean? I've just had a really good idea for the dock as I pulled back in. I should put like a hanging sign here or something with a name. Like the island or like at least the dock itself or something, like the port, it needs a name. Oh, what should we call this place? Right, someone please leave a comment with a name suggestion. Genuinely, I would love a name suggestion for like either the port or the whole island itself. I feel like that would be really cool. Anyway, as I was going to say about the gravel, I think the easiest way for me to get gravel is going to be just like mining out the pockets of it that you find in these sort of like tunnels. So like, of course, I have done a lot of strip mining and everything to get resources, and just like you just run into gravel patches. I mean, there's some there. Yeah, look at this. You just run into patches of gravel. And I think because I don't know the location of a stony beach, I am just gonna mine out these gravel patches to get some. And also, I can do a similar sort of thing with the moss. I can basically just clear out an area and then just bone meal it. So yeah, resources, they're not gonna be the biggest problem, but they are just gonna be slow. So I think with all of that said, I'm gonna get to work and you guys can have a break from my voice for a bit. Okay, I have done a lot of work. Like, I really do mean a lot. As you can see, our entire island has just been covered over. And along with that, if we just come down that nice temporary staircase that I put, as you can see, we have gravel, we've got sand, we've got moss, we have dirt. But I know what you're all thinking. Where's the green dye? Well, there should be some cactus in here. Yeah, there it is. And to go along with that, I do also have some cactus that I've smelted. So there we go. We've got over a stack of it, which when you remember that the crafting recipe for concrete only needs 1 bit of dye for 8 concrete, that really is not too bad. I'll just stick it in the chest with the gravel. Now, the other thing that you might be wondering is why have I gone and covered this entire platform? Or not platform, I guess island? Like, does it? I guess it is still an island, isn't it? So why have I gone and covered everything? Well, first of all, it's to get a good idea of the shape, which I think I quite like. So as you can see, there is really only a 1 block elevation change across this entire island. But also, it's because if we're doing texturing with some concrete powder, basically, we need to make sure that that isn't just gonna fall right through the floor. So a good way to do that that is to literally just put an entire platform so it physically cannot fall down. And as you can see, I have been good. I have lit it all up. Side note, I am very proud of that fact this whole season so far. The fact that absolutely everything I have done has been mob proof. I am really proud of that because normally I don't do that. And either I have a massive mob farm, which is really dangerous, or you can just hear zombies in the walls constantly. I don't have that this season. It's brilliant. It's so quiet. I just realized I sound so energetic right now for absolutely no reason. Well, actually, no, I guess there is a reason. So I'll admit, this segment was not supposed to be recorded today. I actually had absolutely no intention of recording today. By the way, this is like a day after the last clip that you saw. I had no intention of recording today because honestly, I didn't expect to be this far along in the progress, but it's also because I'm not gonna be here for the next 3 days, which doesn't actually affect any of you guys in the slightest. You guys are still gonna be seeing this in the same video as like everything recorded past this day, or I guess past the trip. But what it means for me is I can't record over the next 3 days. And by the time I get back on the day that I do actually come back home, I'm not going to be able to actually record that night. Like, it's gonna be way too late, and I don't fancy giving my neighbors a noise complaint. So what it means is I've had to record this segment just so that I can actually work on my base, and also when I get back, I can work on my base without having to record a segment first. And then hopefully I can finish the episode in the, like, 1 day that I will have once I get back before the upload. So, you know, I'm on a little bit of a tight schedule, but just so you know, it will be fun. I'm going to Edinburgh. Here's a picture when I get back. But yeah, so for now, I have all of the resources that I need. I've got my concrete powder, I've got my moss. I might turn some of it into concrete because I kind of want to do some overhanging, which of course I can't do with concrete powder. I have a bunch of dirt, which I might mix in if I want to put some actual grass in the texture. I've also got some mushroom blocks that I stole from Skipper, but we're not going to mention that. They'll be really good for paths. But anyway, so I have all of the resources that I need. I have a completely filled in island. Whoa, it gets dark on the world map when it's night. Man, look at that. My island glows. But anyway, so I've got all of the resources we need. We have everything prepared to build over. Let's get to work, and I'll see you when I'm back from Scotland. Would it be too early to say that I think this is my favorite base that I have done on Lotus? Like, the season's barely started, and I have barely done anything on my base. Like, this is all we've done so far, but I am loving it. Also, yes, I'm back from Scotland. Here's some more pictures. Like, I am just absolutely loving everything that we have here, and all of this has just been freestyled in the moment. Absolutely none of my base this season has been planned out at all. And I'm loving the way it's coming together. Just look at this. So, like, the way our base works right now, obviously, like, you would come in here, you would land at the dock, you'd be like, oh, there's a nice crane, there's a nice little framework for me to go up. I still have not added the stairs here, or, like, I'm thinking of doing a tiny little ladder here, but I've got nothing there yet. I will do something eventually, and it will only take like 2 seconds. I just am too lazy to do it right now. But yeah, then you come around here on this nice path, which like I really like that texture. I was a bit unsure on the spruce planks, I will admit, but I think it has actually come out really well. And also, side note, thank you very much to Skipper, who generously donated some mushroom blocks. And by donated, I do mean that I stole them. But like, hey, there's no shop right now, and he has all of the mushroom. Just saying. But yeah, we have our nice little farmland island. This is eventually gonna be beetroot, and I thought I had beetroot, but it turns out I don't have beetroot. So yeah, that farmland is gonna remain a little bit empty right now, but that's okay. And then you cross over our nice little archway that we have and stuff, and it just looks so cool. And the path will eventually bring you round here to what I am hoping is going to be my house. And again, I don't have a plan for that. I don't know what my house is going to look like or what sort of size it's going to be. Yeah, I'm just gonna probably freestyle that as well. And as you can see, our terraforming is not quite done. We still have everything under here. This entire island is just hollow. And hey, if you want me to put something down here, feel free to leave a comment. I just don't know what I might put down here. Because honestly, I do kind of want to put a lot of my base up here on the surface. But yeah, the terraforming is incomplete because I need this nice little staircase as a way down and back up and stuff. Plus, I have this cactus farm here. This was just to get all of the concrete powder and stuff and the actual concrete for the grass. And yeah, I still haven't really covered up this bit because this has like all of my essential stuff. So yeah, basically, I'm gonna leave all of that down there, and I think just like once we actually have built the house, then I will move everything up. And I'll also get rid of stuff like this, like the really unnecessary cactus farm now, because I think I actually have everything I need. So yeah, the island definitely is not perfect, and it's definitely not complete. I don't want to keep it this flat. I am thinking I want like some really tall trees on this island. I sort of want to put some fences around all of the farmland, but not like actual wooden fences. I mean like stone walls. And again, not the stone walls in the game, like actual custom built ones that I am hoping will look really cool. Probably gonna do a bunch of bushes. I might go around and add some like sweet berry bushes or something, because of course they have quite a nice texture and they add a little bit of color. But yeah, the main thing for me is just decorating this whole place and making it look so nice. And if I just go into free cam, it's a little bit cheaty, but just like, look at that. I am so proud of this, and all of this has been done in like a week. How did I go from not building my base for a month to getting all of this done in a week? I don't get it. But anyway, yeah, so I think the next step is basically like decorate that island and stuff, which is gonna involve trees, so I'm a little bit stressed out about that. And also getting my house done over here. But I think that we have done enough work for today, so I am going to say thank you all for watching. If you've gotten this far, please consider subscribing. This has been a really fun episode to work on, and like, come on, surely you want to see how this is gonna end up. I don't ask for it often, so please do consider it. Also, side note, the only reason I was harvesting that wheat was just to get a cinematic shot. I've just chucked it in the composter. I really didn't need it. I just thought it would make a nice shot. So yeah, anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you have enjoyed it, and I'm gonna get back to farming for a nice cinematic outro. Side note, if you have any suggestions for this island, please tell me.